E ngā mana, e ngā tapu e te reo karanga e. Haere mai ra o tātou ma te karangaranga o te motu e. Kawea mai ra ngā pare kawa kawa o te hunga ma te kuanga roki te poe.
Te hanatanga o te mātauranga rere au nei e. Rei te puna mātauranga o te kunenga ki pūre huro e whakatau ia koutou ki roto i tō tāu a whare. Rarau mai ra, rarau mai ra, rarau mai e a kurangatira e.
A tēnā koutou katoa, e mihi tino mahana. Warm greetings to you all gathered here today. I declare this congregation to be in session. Please remain standing as we start our proceedings today with the University Waiata, Te Kuninga ki Purihurua.
Te kuninga ki Purihurua. Nei rā te reo karanga e tau atu nei. Ki te hapai a te reo tangata. Whakaako whakaeke ki te komata. Te kunenga ki Purihurua. Te ara mataranga ka whakaewa e. Te maramatanga ka kitea e. Ki mihi ara mahaua kia whita e. Te kunenga ki Purihurua. Te kunenga ki Purihurua.
Please be seated. A tēnei te mi atu ki te iti, ki te rahi te katoa, a kōrau i ka mai nei i tēnei rangi nui wakaharahara. A ki te mana whenua, rangatāne ki Manawatū, a he mihi kau ki a koutou. E pupuri nei, i te mauri o tēnei whenua, tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou e te rangatira katoa, e hoa mā, no reira, tēnā koutou, kia ora anō tātou katoa. Vice-Chancellor, Massey University Council members, members of the university community, members of the Manawatū Campus Graduation Committee, distinguished guests, graduands and families. My name is Michael Ahi. I am Chancellor of the Massey University Council, which means I chair the group responsible for overseeing the university's governance, as well as having the very great pleasure in presiding over graduation ceremonies and conferring qualifications to the successful students of Massey University. Firstly, my thanks to all involved in putting this ceremony together. Graduation is always a very special event for the university, and I extend again a very warm welcome to you all to this autumn graduation for 2021, the final of 5 ceremonies here in the mighty Manawatū. For nearly 100 years, Massey has been part of the fabric of New Zealand's economy and culture. And for our graduates, it continues to be a launchpad to the wider world. We not only help students shape their own future, we help to shape the future of New Zealand and indeed the world. Here at Massey, we strive to solve real-world problems that stand to make a difference in people's lives. Through the combined efforts of our research and our teaching, new solutions and discoveries are made to address the challenges that face us all. Graduates of Massey University complete their chosen course of study with more than knowledge. They leave with the capability and the confidence to change the world around them, to establish new pathways, to lead the way forward and make life better for those around them. And we are immensely proud of you all and the entrepreneurial spirit that our graduates possess. This week, Massey University is awarding to a total of 1,217 students. That's a lot of handshakes for me. And at this ceremony, degrees will be conferred and diplomas awarded in professional and continuing education, the College of Creative Arts, and College of Humanities and Social Sciences. A total of 139 in person here this afternoon, plus a further 36 in absentia. Graduations are festive occasions and our biggest celebration of academic success. Whilst today is about you, graduands, it is also about your family and friends who have encouraged and supported you and who are here to acknowledge your success. So to those of you in the audience, when your loved one takes to the stage, please don't hold back. Be exuberant. Be loud. Their few seconds on stage mean all the more for you being here. So please don't be afraid to contribute to their experience. Graduands, by the end of today, you will be part of a Massey alumni family with more than 150,000 people around the world. As Chancellor, I welcome you to this new whānau and hope that through the many connections it offers, your careers will be supported and your lives will be enhanced. I say this because your university cares about you. You are each part of the Massey University legacy, part of a story now written and part of the chapters yet to come. The voice of you, our tauira, our students, is a key part of the narrative of our fine university. It's important that we listen to you and chart our future course together. Graduands, before you cross the stage, I wish you congratulations once more. Continue to work hard. Take all the opportunities that life gives you. I know that you will continue to aim high and succeed in whatever you choose to accomplish in your life. Do us proud. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, a tēnā hui hui, mai tātou katoa. By the authority of the Council of Massey University, I, Michael Ahi, Chancellor, will now award the certificates and diplomas and confer the degrees on those to be presented and on those in absentia. Andrea Flavel, Director for Professional and Continuing Education, will now present recipients of certificates from the Centre for Professional and Continuing Education and the College of Creative Arts. Professor Cynthia White, Pro-Vice Chancellor, College of Humanities and Social Sciences, will hand out the parchments.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the Certificate of Foundation Studies the candidates I'm about to name. Yash Darian Baksh. Jing Sha Lee. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Creative Media Production the graduand I'm about to name, Samuel Allen Matthew Bowes. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Design the graduate I'm about to name, Erica Marie San Jose Hesmundo. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Design with Honours, the graduate I'm about to name, Melissa May Huntsman. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts with Honours, the graduate I'm about to name, Winona Falau. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Māori Visual Arts, the graduates I'm about to name, Te Hana Katarina Paiwai, First Class Honours. Chancellor, re reo te reo irirangi hinirau katauri Tate. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the Master of Māori Visual Arts the candidate I'm about to name, Benita Bigham with distinction. Lee Ann Marama Ngāwhika. Thank you, Chancellor.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the Diploma in Arts the candidates I am about to name. Zoe Janine Mustard. Leilani Rose Karangawai Parinatai Hare. Shahida Amila Binti Ahmed Akram Hussain. Sarah Renee Barnes. Yvette Batten. Amy Kate Bishop. Nicole Marie Blanc. Megan Lisa Boyce. Lucy Alice Gray Britland. Brianna Angeline Margaret Rose Brooker. Ariana Mary Buckley. Kathleen Laura Boons. Ashley Marie Burrell. Laura Nicole Maynard Carter. Sarah Jane Comber. Devon Jane Corney. Danielle Louise DeBoer. Sarah K. Belinda Doherty. Lillian Jeanette Doherty Ramsey. Victoria Kate Duncan. Johann Dient Emeritus. Hannah Elizabeth Jane Forth. Lucy Faith Patricia Fox. Bridget Frances Colleen Gavigan. Haluk Gokhan. Christina Stephanie Hall. Megan Joanne Hamilton. Isaiah Andrew Hamlin. Matthew Fraser Harris. Taylor Ashley Hislop. Sheldon Mary Ann Howley. Michaela Rose Hubbard. Kate Phyllis Instein. Alexander Johnston. Erica Ann Crudeny. Emily Rose Longstaff. Siobhan Mary Maglalang. Aroha Kim Matthews. Callum Gary Mayston. Sharon Ann Mackenzie. Alice Tertia McFun. Catherine Mate Mitchell. Nur Fatiha Iliani Binti Maud Nasir. Samantha Alisa Nash. Hannah Marie O'Neill. Annie Vera Overall. Jackson Ray Pene Heroini. Thank you, Chancellor.
Kia ora anō. It's now my great pleasure to invite Dr. Kirsty Ross to address the graduands. Dr. Ross completed her BA Honours First Class, PhD and postgraduate diploma in clinical psychology through Massey University. She is a registered senior clinical psychologist and a senior lecturer in clinical psychology for the clinical psychology program here at Massey's Manawatū campus, as well as coordinating the clinical program. She is also part of the leadership team for the Palmerston North Psychology Clinic. Dr. Ross has worked with children for 20 years and for the past 15 years at the Psychology Clinic on the Manawatū campus. There, she has specialised in working with children, young people and families whānau of people who have long-term and or terminal health conditions, particularly cancer, as well as young people with anxiety and trauma. Dr. Ross's knowledge, focus and values as a clinician guide and inform all aspects of her work, encompassing a developmental and family systems perspective centred around a recovery model and a holistic view of well-being. Dr. Ross works with both individual clients and in the community to enhance existing strengths with individuals, family whānau and communities to prevent serious forms of mental distress and illness and foster mental health and well-being. She is currently training counsellors and therapists across Aotearoa to establish a network of therapists to work with children with cancer and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a warm welcome to Dr. Kirsty Ross.
Tēnā koutou katoa. I te taha o tōku mātua, no Kotarangi no Aotearoa hoki ia. I te taha o tōku whaia, no Ingarangi no Wera hoki ia. Kei pahi atua o rawa kāinga. Ko Jeff Ross tōku papa, ko Jane Ross tōku mama, ko David Jamieson tōku mātua whāngai. Ko Stacey Takutāne, ko Alistair Rawa, ko Charlotte Aku Tamariki, ko Kirsty Ross tōku ingoa. He kai mātai hine nāro mātua aho, no te kunina ki puri hurua. He aha te mea nui o te ao, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. It is my absolute honour to be speaking to you today as you celebrate your achievements with your family and whānau. Today is a day to recognise your journey and all that it has taken to reach this milestone. Some of you have had support and share your success with loved ones today. Others have had more of an individual path to this point, and I particularly salute you. Some of you have followed in the path set by others, and some of you have looked at the path others have walked and decided to make a new one. You all have had to work hard and persevere in very difficult circumstances. Your studies in this college show that you value the study of people and making a difference in the lives of others. I've been asked to share the story of my career and work, but in order to do that, I need to share with you the stories of some important people in my life and on whose shoulders I stand today. I am the result of those who have gone before me and my family, whose values I have inherited and who modelled to me principles that I live by today, and they stand with me in spirit here today. My father's family came to the Wairarapa in New Zealand from Scotland generations ago. We trace our heritage back to proud Scottish warriors. My grandparents were Doug and Vi Ross. Vi's parents divorced when she was a young child. In the 1920s, this involved the scandal of a criminal prosecution which found my great-grandmother guilty. She and her daughter Vi experienced significant stigma and discrimination as a result. Vi was shunned by her peers and community and left school very early. Her father moved away and had a second family, whom she enthusiastically connected with as an adult. The loss of her family and education shaped Vi's life hugely, so she ensured her children and grandchildren knew the value of both. A call from Gran for a family get-together was not to be refused, and her phone calls were legendary for sharing updates on every remote cousin that I had never heard of, but that she told me that I knew. Doug served in Europe in World War II, and the shrapnel in his face bore witness to horrors that were never spoken about, but that affected him and the whole family significantly. My father, Jeff, was born during World War II, and the traumas of the war impacted his childhood and life hugely. My mother was born in England to an English father, Fred, and his Welsh wife, Myra. Myra came from a family that was creative and artistic and highly valued education. She was trained as a teacher, and her brother was a university professor in Wales. Once again, World War II shaped Myra and Fred's lives significantly. They were married during the war. Myra was in London during the Blitz, and Fred served in the Royal Air Force in Europe. Again, these horrors were never spoken about. After the war, Myra and Fred had 2 daughters. They sought a safer, quieter life, so they moved to New Zealand when my mother, Jan, was 6. In doing so, my family lost connection to her family in England and Wales, and this was a loss she felt hugely through her life. They arrived in Clearville, Carterton in the 1950s, where Myra became the first female principal of a primary school in New Zealand, for which she received the New Zealand Suffrage Centennial Medal in 1993. She was a formidable woman, a ferocious and talented card player, drinker of gin, massive flirt, and she was prone to telling very rude jokes. She taught John Banks, who had a truly tragic childhood. He's a politician, if you don't know who he is. In his autobiography, he recalled that Grandma told him on his first day at school that he was born with a right to success, as she believed everybody was. He said she was a powerful force in his life, and their relationship lasted the rest of her life. Myra was the main earner in the family and worked well into her 70s at the RSA. Fred did the cooking and cleaning, she managed the finances, and Fred clearly realised early on, happy wife, happy life. My grandmother showed me that age and gender should never limit possibilities, at a time when her role in the family was really unusual. Myra and Vi both had to start again in life for different reasons and had to build a community and family when theirs had been lost. They cared for children who were disempowered, knowing that having someone believe in them could change a child's life. My mother and her sister followed in Myra's footsteps and both became teachers. Mum taught special needs kids for a long time as the head teacher in a special needs unit in a primary school in Pahiatua, one of the first mainstreamed classes in the country. She too believed that all children have the right to be successful and achieve their potential, and she was an incredible teacher in her own right. I remember trying to get Mum to lock her house once when she was going out, but she proudly assured me she taught most of the criminals in Pahiatua at the time, and they'd told her they'd all agreed that her house was off limits as a mark of respect. She actually was never burgled. Mum taught for 45 years prior to getting cancer, and the turnout to her funeral was testament to the impact she had on her students. My dad was pretty mischievous as a teenager, and after getting caught yet again in the girls' dorm of the boarding school in Masterton when he was 15, it was suggested to him that perhaps he should leave school, so he left to see the world. The family farm was called Have a Shot, and that was his philosophy in life. Dad was one of the most intelligent people I've ever met, and as an adult came to highly value education. He could turn his hand to anything regardless of his lack of qualifications. After farming, he became a successful lawnmower repair business owner, then computer systems developer, including for the Wairarapa Polytech. He agreed to run their branch for them in Pahiatua. When they asked him to teach accounting, he said, "Sure, I've run a business, I can do that," and so he did that too. He said to me with a grin one day he was just trying to stay one chapter ahead of his students. Dad died suddenly from a heart attack when I was 21, and my perspective on life changed, as did our world. At his funeral, his adult students shared stories of his kindness, his encouragement, his belief in them, and his legendary sense of humour. A student who was a member of the Rainbow community told me of Dad's positive impact, and this reflected his values and awareness of needing to support those who were often marginalised in society, as members of his own family had been during the 1950s and 60s. As Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, if you want to be a true professional, you will do something outside yourself, something to repair tears in your community, something to make life a little better for people. The women in my family tend to be fiery, strong women who speak up when they see injustice and fight for what they believe in. The men were kind and gentle, showing strength of character in their care and support of others and love for family, and in doing the right thing, not just the norm at the time. When I look at my son, my daughter, my nephew, my niece, I see these traits continuing. My grandparents and parents had strong values of family, education, working with youth, and giving service to your community wherever and however you can. So it would seem my path to stand here today seems obvious, but not so. I was born with spina bifida, which caused significant health issues and disability in my life and has shaped me in many ways. My parents were told when I was born that I might never walk, and literally to take me home and do the best they could with me. Mum and Dad told me I could be whatever I put my mind to. As a little girl, that involved winning an Oscar or being an Olympic gymnast, so I guess it wasn't quite accurate, but they instilled in me a belief in hard work and determination. I grew up in the small and close community of Pahiatua and went to the local high school, Tararua College. We had a whare on the school grounds where we learned the value of connection and whakapapa. I grew up in an era where talking about your struggles wasn't the thing to do. You were just supposed to harden up and get on with it. So when I was 15 and found myself experiencing significant mental distress, I self-destructed, despite my parents' and my sister's love and care. The following few years involved therapists, services, hospital stays, a great deal of despair for me, my family, and my community. I had decided I wanted to be a lawyer, but at the start of high school I was too unwell to start university. I had a year off to focus on recovery, starting with 3 months in hospital, fighting for my life. I was 17, and this was very traumatic for me and for my family. I did a couple of papers through Massey that year, extramurally. Those papers helped me connect to my goals and who I was aiming to be, and psychology was one of those papers. I spent that year struggling, healing, recovering, but I was not in a place where going to Victoria and Wellington would be wise at the end of that year. So I reluctantly and with a great deal of protest agreed to do my first full year of study at Massey, Palmerston North, and then I would transfer. 2 things happened that year. I took practical ethics. I realised how easily persuaded I was by compelling arguments and how uncomfortable I was saying there was a right or wrong position. And I recognised those are not qualities defendants would appreciate in a lawyer. I also continued on with psychology and realised I'd found my place. I was learning things I understood and related to with people from all walks of life. I grew up at Massey. I learnt more than academic knowledge, but I learnt also what I stand for and my values that I put into practice into my work today. Not surprisingly, my clinical work has a trauma-informed perspective, values whānau highly, has a recovery philosophy and focuses on child, youth and family, including those with health conditions. My own children are part of my story of Massey. I had my first child, my son, during my PhD, and I can only imagine the private chuckles of my supervisors must have had as I naively and earnestly assured them that I would complete my thesis easily with a newborn. 4 years later, I had completed my PhD and my clinical psychology training, and I was pregnant with my daughter. And my wee newborn baby was handed to me to hold on stage as I received my PhD in clinical psychology qualifications. My 2 children have spent many hours with me at Massey. My husband is also part of my story as he both cheers me on and shakes his head at what I agree to do, and braces himself for the night before nerves when I follow in Dad's footsteps and impulsively agree to do things and have a shot, pretty much like now. I know I am who I need to be. I know I am where I need to be right now. We all have chapters of our life that we don't read out loud, but we should. Our experiences, along with the stories of those who've gone before, are our strengths, our gifts, and our heritage. When we can free ourselves from being defined and shackled by those chapters and can take the lessons forward, that is a gift. When we combine those experiences with academic knowledge to enact in meaningful ways that make a difference and enable us to live a life in line with our values, that's wisdom. Wisdom that can shine a light and a path for others. And now it's your turn to figure out the influence you'll be on others and how you will use your knowledge moving forward. It's time to figure out what meaning and purpose is outside this place of learning. And while it's totally fine that the purpose right now might be to make money and spend it without stressing about the FPOS card declining, over time you'll want to think about what is next. And I'd like to humbly offer you some words of advice as you enter a workplace and a world that is very different from when you started your qualification. First, you'll experience something called the imposter syndrome. It won't go away, so best you make friends with it now. I'm having a very large dose of it standing here in front of you today. You've earned your place at the table, and you have important things to contribute. But you don't have to know everything. In fact, you don't, you can't, and you won't know everything, ever. Others around you may have more experience or different forms of knowledge. When we can respect, embrace, and value difference, we have rich knowledge to draw on. Smart people know to learn from others' expertise, and that learning is lifelong. Naku te roro, nau te roro, ka ora ai te iwi. With your basket and my basket, we will sustain everyone. But don't let anyone tell you that you shouldn't be at the table, especially not by virtue of age, gender, culture, sexuality, disability, or your background. No one defines your value except you, with support from those you respect. Secondly, say yes. Embrace the anxiety and do it anyway. Anxiety just means you care about what you're doing. Show up and really participate. Have faith that what you do makes a difference, even if it's not immediately obvious. As Maya Angelou said, I've learnt that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. But you will need to take care of yourself. Showing up and caring takes energy. How much you're able to give will vary each day, and all you can do is give what you can. We put more effort into maintaining our vehicles than we do to ourselves, but if you want to give more, you'll need to care for yourself. Self-care, mental health, well-being means doing things that help you flourish, caring for your body, your mind, your spirit, keeping your connections and your relationships strong. Rotate what you drop the ball on. As Ruth Bader Ginsburg cleverly said, you can't have it all at once. Finally, defining your success is no longer about grades and scholarships, but rather the goals that you need to set for yourself, and having a life that combines your academic knowledge with experience and values. Be careful how you measure success. Getting caught up in the trappings of success can take us away from the things we value. As Ralph Waldo Emerson beautifully said about the definition of success, it's to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent persons and the affection of children, to earn the approval of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to give oneself, to leave the world a little better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, a redeemed social condition, to have played and laughed with enthusiasm, sung with exultation, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. As you leave here today, take your knowledge and skills and use them in a way that brings you joy, meaning and purpose, and enables you to be the person that you want to be. The next chapter is waiting to be written, and the pen is in your hands. Go well, be well. And I wish you happiness, wisdom, and every success. Thank you.
Tēnā koe, Kirsty. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your whanaungatanga, your wakapapa, and those beautiful words of wisdom. Beautiful kōrero. Ka nui te mihi. Kia koe. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now continue with the conferment of degrees and the award of university diplomas. Can I firstly acknowledge, which I neglected to, Professor Lisa Emerson, Director of Teaching and Learning, who read so eloquently that the second round, and can I also now introduce Dr. Tom Conroy, Senior Lecturer from the School of English and Media Studies, who will call the names of graduates and recipients of certificates and diplomas in the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and Professor Cynthia White, Pro Vice Chancellor, College of Humanities and Social Sciences, will hand out the parchments.
Chancellor, I have the honor to continue to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Arts the graduands I'm about to name. Andrina Rui Narangi Parego. Colin Grant Peters. Maureen Pone. Edward Tuki Tahi Ro Tahi. Sophia Rebecca Richardson. Talina Catherine Rogers Barrett. Catherine Mari Russell. Tatiana Pavlivna Sanders. William Charlton Sarah. Benjamin David Schmidt. Morgan Claire Scott. Yvette Karen Shirley. Megan Kate Small. Jane McLean Smith. Michael Kane Rihanna Smith. Rachel Elizabeth Smith. Sydney Christopher Tumanako Fatataku. Sarah Elizabeth Thompson. Adele Rose Thurlew, Massey Scholar. Gabrielle Anna Marie Tizard-Tongs, Massey Scholar. Melissa Margaret Trent Trong. James Keeley Say. April Rose Upfold. Freya Mary Watson. Rikihana Judith Watson. Lucy Page Wilson. Claudia Charlotte Young. Finn Jason Zollmaker. Imran bin Zashi. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Communication the graduands I'm about to name. Madison Bailey. Janice Fuati Fee. Abigail Caitlin Lossing. Madeline Kate Newsom. Axel Freeman Oswald. James Lawrence Pocock. Rebecca Linaire Tamblin. Rebecca Thevden Dron. Ellen Catherine Wykes. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Resource and Environmental Planning the graduands I'm about to name. Asil Abdullah Mohammed Mansin Hadi Al-Harbi. Vincent Bevan Ashman. Roz James Bidlake. Mitchell Alexander Bodie. Luke Paul Lofrey Connor. Benjamin Connor Foster. Samuel Leslie Drysdale Hammond. Tara Pamela Leonard. Karen Andrea Penn. Joshua Craig Pepperell. Savannah Grace Marie Redmond. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for the Graduate Certificate in Arts the candidates I'm about to name. Natasha Marawa Hill. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for the Graduate Diploma in Arts the candidates I'm about to name. Christopher John Davidson. Christy Marie Hyde. Arorangi Faith Horeata Kora. Jiel Wang. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for the postgraduate diploma in arts the candidates I'm about to name. Sarah Denise Knight. Larry Alexander Morgan. Jasmine Tony Lee Robb with distinction. Jordan Mihi Walker with distinction. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Arts with honors the graduands I'm about to name. Ruth Chaviza Ardo, first class honors. Robina Serafin Brock, first class honors. Catherine Diane Valerie Inns Drury. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Arts the graduands I'm about to name. Brooke Kyra Hopskin, with distinction, Massey Scholar. Sohela Monique Katovich. Darren Edward Renault, with distinction. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Clinical Psychology the graduand I'm about to name. Olivia Catherine McKenzie. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for graduation in the degree of Master of International Development the graduands I'm about to name. Febri Hisba Ashiana Soharta. Aaron James Withers, with distinction. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for graduation in the degree of Master of International Security the graduands I'm about to name. Danae Dreyer. Lisa Tiffany Martin. Andrew Neil Scrace. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Resource and Environmental Planning the graduand I'm about to name. Irana Mihaela Kondorachi. Chancellor, I have the honor to present for graduation in the degree of postgraduate diploma in psychological practice the graduand I'm about to name. Jennifer McCallum. Chancellor, the degrees are also conferred and the diplomas are also awarded to those who are in absentia. Thank you, Chancellor.
Kia ora mai tātou. Thank you, everyone. It's now my pleasure to invite Ross Bidlake to make the valedictory address on behalf of students. Ross is a husband and father to 2 children aged 3 and 5. He was born and raised in Palmerston North. He lived in the city until he was 22 when he moved to Waiuru to join the New Zealand Army, graduating as an officer in 2009. For 8 years, Ross served the country and travelled the world. In 2016, at age 30, it was time for a change of lifestyle, so after a discussion with a colleague, he says, who worked in urban planning, he decided that seemed like an interesting profession to get into. So in 2017, with a 1-year-old child and another on the way, he started studying a Bachelor of Resource and Environmental Planning. During his study, he was awarded the David Spring, Ken Nairn, J.T. Stewart and the Bernard Ford Planning Prizes for successive years as top student in the planning program. Currently, Ross works as a compliance officer in Horizons Regional Council, and he looks forward to continue challenges in the future. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in a warm welcome to Ross Bidlake.
Thank you, Chancellor. Before I begin, I'd just like to acknowledge the Chancellor and the Vice-Chancellor, the lecturers here behind me and the other Massey staff who are here today sharing in our success and in our moment of pride. Thank you all for being here, and thank you all for being such a big part of our tertiary journey. Good afternoon, Massey staff, fellow graduates, friends and family. It's my privilege to be able to represent the graduates here today and to thank the university for their guidance, their efforts, their sharing of knowledge that they provided to us while we were here at Massey. So over the next few minutes, I'd like to try to briefly encompass that collective journey of our studenthood and try to acknowledge the university for helping us grow. The group here graduating today is varied in so many ways, and their experiences of university will be just as varied. So representing everyone here is going to be quite difficult for me, perhaps even creating a little bit of this nervousness that you're hearing now. While we were here, we have all grown in our newfound professions. We've developed our writing styles, our creative abilities. We've also panicked because of due dates coming up. Perhaps we've found some bonus time in there somewhere, or we've had to create excuses for lectures to give us extensions on our assignments. We've spent some time scouring textbooks, going through library databases, or in some cases doing extensive reviews of Wikipedia. We've all had late nights, early mornings. We've made sacrifices for something that we deemed important, which has now all come to fruition for us. I know some of those late nights may have been self-inflicted, as social priorities or hangovers prevented productivity, but it wasn't necessarily always the case. Sometimes it was procrastination. I'm also aware, like myself, that many of us here were trying to raise families while we were studying and had to sacrifice time with children to get assignments finished. Some of us maybe felt guilty having to palm children off to other family members just to get through that last assignment or get to an exam on time, or trying to juggle sick family whilst we're trying to get our assignments finished. And while in my case that is also true, my kids also brought for me great joy and much needed distractions that I needed when stress was one of the key things inhibiting my study. However, despite the pressures, stresses, and the occasional hangovers, collectively, we've learned our respective professions. We've questioned, and we've found ways to answer those questions. We've learned how to think critically or creatively. We've collaborated, found passion, made mistakes. We've developed some of the best, or perhaps some of the worst work in a panic the day before something was due. And in addition to the normal stresses of university, we had the coronavirus effectively shut down the university, preventing face-to-face lectures, forcing us into a digital space. We were, of course, fortunate to be at a university that already had most of the digital infrastructure in place and was able to change relatively fast. Although this was not entirely seamless, it was with relative ease. And it is for that we perhaps owe not only our lecturers, but a whole range of behind-the-scenes staff at Massey University a great debt of gratitude. So to the tutors, lecturers, project supervisors, and all Massey staff for your support from the beginning of our journey, for sharing your passions, for helping inspire us, for guiding us and promoting our development, for carrying on through the unexpected pandemic and helping us achieve this great milestone. Whether we continue to study or we've embarked on a new career, I thank you for everything. To my fellow graduates, wherever this journey has led you, congratulations. Be proud of your achievement, and I hope your friends and family will help to inflate your ego today through praise and adoration, although we also like gifts. Wherever we go, Massey will be an important place in our personal development story. It'll be a place where friendships were forged, where ideas were challenged, where curiosity was increased, and our passions became ever more inspired. So I wish to you all great success and happiness in whatever your futures may hold. Thank you.
Well done, Ross. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ross, for those inspiring words on behalf of graduates. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed for the last official part of our procedures today and proceed with doctoral conferments.
A doctorate, either a PhD or a professionally named doctorate, is the highest research degree awarded by the university. The successful completion of a doctorate represents a significant achievement. Through the submission of a sustained piece of work expressed in the production of written thesis of no more than 100,000 words, or a creative work of equal size and scope, or via a series of publications, candidates are expected to make an original contribution to knowledge in a specific field of study. Candidates will typically spend 3 to 4 years full-time solving a problem or addressing a particular set of questions. An international panel of experts then examines the resulting body of work through both written and oral examination. Doctoral research is challenging and represents a huge commitment to advancing research and scholarship. We honour achievements of our doctoral graduands by inviting them to come onto the stage, thereby formally welcoming them into the academic and scholarly community and acknowledging their entitlement to be called doctor. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology the graduands I am about to name. Amy Kirsten Edwards, Doctoral Scholar. Recognising school as a context for social emotional development, Ms Edwards examined students' perceptions of teachers' social emotional practices and how they were related to students' strengths and difficulties. She created and applied a conceptual map to analyse survey data and found student perceptions of teachers' practices were associated with fewer social emotional difficulties. Chancellor, Dr Edwards. Louise Ann Edwards. Non-suicidal self-injury is a significant risk factor for suicidal behaviour. Ms Edwards investigated the transition between non-suicidal self-injury and suicide attempts by focusing on perceptions of being a burden on others. Results indicate that burdensomeness is an important construct clinically in New Zealand for non-suicidal self-injury research, treatment and prevention, suicide prevention, and the relationship between these two areas. Chancellor, Dr Edwards. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Doctor of Philosophy the graduands I am about to name. Catherine Mary Averill. To achieve sustainable development goals, current management theory and practice needs to be reconsidered. Ms Averill's research pointed to the emergence of evaluative management as a new model of integrated management explicitly premised on values and principles. This research may help reposition and integrate management and governance in development contexts and enhance inclusion, development effectiveness and sustainability. Chancellor, Dr. Averill. Miriama Deborah Ketu Mackenzie, Doctoral Scholar. Chronic health conditions are prevalent among Māori women in New Zealand. Mrs. Ketu Mackenzie's research explored links between childhood stress and chronic health issues among Māori women. Her results showed that stress accelerates the pathway to chronic disease and that mindfulness therapy can improve health outcomes for Māori women. Chancellor, Dr. Ketu Mackenzie. Malcolm George Davis Mulholland. Chancellor, Mr Mulholland argued that prominent flags and the debates around them provide valuable insights into New Zealand's history. He demonstrated that Māori developed distinct kawa around flagstaffs and flags. He further argued that the historically inaccurate notion that New Zealand soldiers fought under the current flag in World War I and World War II is an invented tradition. Chancellor, Dr Mulholland. Thank you, Chancellor. Would all our graduates please stand? He hoanere nui te whakatau atu I a koutou, hei raukua o te kuninga ki Pure Huroa. It is my great honour to welcome you as alumni of Massey University. The award of a university degree carries many privileges, but like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. I charge you as graduates of Massey University to use what you have learnt for your own betterment and for the benefit of your communities. I charge you to use the skills and knowledge you have acquired with rigour and integrity, and to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and discovery. I charge you to remember the lessons Massey University has taught you about the worth of others, particularly those who've not had the opportunities that you have had. I charge you to set goals and to continue the hard work that has brought you so far. And in all that you do, I charge you to be deserving of the good name of Massey University. Please be seated.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. A tēnā tātou tupori, and congratulations once more, graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the end of our celebrations today. At the conclusion of this ceremony, guests are requested to remain in their seats until the processions have gathered in Broadway Avenue. Please join in the celebratory procession to the square, where we hope you will mix and mingle with your graduates, with our staff and family and friends, all who have been part of your graduate successful journey. I therefore declare this congregation to be adjourned. If I could ask you please to all stand and join with us in a rousing rendition of our national anthem, God Defend New Zealand.